Princess Margaret on your behalf. So in Tours, the famous ancient city, I have been joined to her in proxy marriage. And now, humbly, on my bended knee, in sight of England and her lordly peers, I do deliver up my title to the Queen into your gracious hands, the happiest gift I ever gave, the fairest queen a king ever received.
Welcome, Queen Margaret. I can express no kinder sign of love than this kind kiss. Lord, lends me life. Lend me a heart that's full of thankfulness. For in this beauteous face you've given me a world of earthly blessings to my soul, if our two minds have equal thoughts of love.
Great King of England and my gracious Lord, the intimate thoughts that I have had of you, by day, by night, waking, and in dreams, in courtly fellowship or at my prayers, make me the bolder to salute my King with simple terms that spring into my mind and spill out from my overflowing heart.
Her sight does ravish, but her graceful speech, her words endowed with wisdom's majesty, transform my high esteem to weeping joy. Such is the fullness of my heart's content. Lords, with one cheerful voice, welcome my love.
Long live Queen Margaret, England's happiness!
I thank you all.
My Lord Protector, if it pleases you, I give you here the markers of peace between our sovereign and the French King Charles.
Item, it is agreed between the French King Charles and the Marquess of Suffolk, ambassador to Henry, King of England, that the said Henry shall marry the Lady Margaret, daughter to Rainier, King of Naples, Sicily, and Jerusalem, and crown her Queen of England before the 30th of next May. Item, that the Duchy of Anjou and the County of Maine shall be released and delivered to the King her father.
Uncle, what's the matter?
Pardon, my gracious lord, some sudden doubt hath struck me in the heart and dimmed mine eyes, that I can read no more.
Uncle Winchester, I pray, read on.
Item, the Duchies of Anjou and of Maine shall be released and delivered over to the king her father, and she shall be sent over at the King of England's own expense, without any doubt.
This pleases thee well. Thanks, Uncle Winchester. Gloucester, York, Buckingham, Somerset, Salisbury, and Warwick, we thank you all for the great favor shown in entertaining my most royal queen. Come, let us go and see her coronation.
Brave peers of England, pillars of the state, Gloucester must unleash his grief on you, our grief, the common grief of all the land. What? Did my brother Henry waste his youth, his courage, his coin, and his people in the wars to conquer France, his true inheritance? And did my brother Bedford not rack his brain to find a way for Henry to keep that victory? And yourselves, Somerset, Buckingham, brave York, Salisbury, victorious Warwick, did you not receive deep scars in France and Normandy? Should all these honors and these efforts die? Shall Henry's courage, his victories, shall your deeds of war and all our planning die? Oh, brave peers, how shameful is this league. This marriage is fatal, canceling your fame, undoing all as if it had never been done.
What does this heartfelt discourse mean? For France is ours, and surely we will keep it.
We will keep it if we can, but I fear that is impossible. Suffolk, the newly made duke who rules the roost, has given the Duchy of Anjou and Maine to poor Rainier, whose extravagant style does not match the coffers of his purse.
Now by the death of him that died for all these counties were the keys of Normandy.
Anjou and Maine! I won them both myself. Those provinces were conquered with these arms, and the cities I got with wounds. Delivered back up with peaceful words? Good God!
May the Duke of Suffolk suffocate for dimming the honor of this warlike isle. King Henry gives away his holdings to marry her who comes here empty-handed.
She should have stayed in France and starved in France.
My lord of Gloucester, you're getting too upset. The king agreed to all of these conditions.
My Lord of Winchester, I know your mind. It is not my speeches you dislike, but my presence here that troubles you. I see the fury in your face. If I stay longer, we shall begin again our ancient squabble. My lords, farewell. And when I am gone, say that I prophesied that France would soon be lost.
There goes our protector in a rage. It's known to you he is my enemy. No more, an enemy to you as well. And to the king, I fear he is no great friend. Believe me, lords, had the king got all the empires of the West, plus, and would he then have...
Buckingham. But Gloucester's pride and lofty state may only cause us grief. Let's watch the haughty cardinal too. His insolence is more intolerable than the other lords. Gloucester is displaced. He'll be protected.
Or you, or I, Somerset, will be protector, despite Duke Humphrey or the cardinal. Pride goes before, ambition follows him. While these do toil for their own advancements, it rests with us to labor for the realm. I've often seen the haughty cardinal, more like a soldier than a holy man, act strong and proud as being lord of all, swear like a ruffian and demean himself, unlike the ruler of a commonwealth. Warwick, your deeds, your plainness, and your graciousness have won the greatest favor of the people. And brother York, your recent exploits in the heart of France have made you feared and honored by the people. Let's join together for the common good in what we can to bridle and suppress the pride of Suffolk and the cardinal. And as we may cherish Gloucester's deeds while they promote the profit of the land.
God help Warwick, for I love this land.
And York agrees, for I have most at stake. Then let's go. This could be our main chance. Suffolk set the terms the peers agreed, and Henry was quite pleased with the exchange. 2 dukedoms for a duke's most charming daughter. I cannot blame them. What does it mean to them? They give away what's yours, not their own. So York must sit and fret and bite his tongue while his own lands are bargained for and sold. Cold news for me, as I have hopes for France, as I have hopes for England's fertile soil. A day will come when York will claim his own. I'll cast my lot with Salisbury and Warwick and make a show of love to proud Duke Humphrey. And when I see my chance, I'll claim the crown. Then I will raise aloft the milk-white rose whose sweet fragrance will perfume the air, and my flag shall bear the arms of York, to battle with the house of Lancaster. And by sheer force, I'll make him yield the crown whose bookish rule has pulled fair England down.
My good lord, why do you droop like ripened corn hanging its head at summer's heavy bounty? Why does the great Duke of Gloucester frown with his brows at the blessings of the world? Why do you look upon the sullen earth? What do you see? Is it King Henry's crown? Stretch out your hand, reach for the glorious gold. Is it too short? I'll lengthen it with mine.
Nell, sweet Nell, if you love your lord, banish the cancer of ambitious thought. If I were to think ill against my nephew and my king, the gracious Henry, let me be struck down. Let that be my last breath on earth. The dream I had last night troubles me.
Well, my sweet lord, Tell me your dream, and I'll requite it by telling you the dream I had.
I dreamt that my staff, which shows my rank in court, had been broken in two. By whom I forget. Oh yes, now I remember. The cardinal. And on the broken ends of the staff were speared the heads of Somerset and Suffolk. That was my dream. What it foretells, God knows.
Why, this is nothing but an argument that he who breaks a stick of Gloucester's grove shall lose his head for his presumptuousness. But, my sweet Duke, let me tell you of the dream I had. I thought I sat upon that royal throne in the Cathedral of Westminster, that chair where kings and queens are crowned. And Henry and Dame Margaret knelt to me, and upon my head they placed the royal diadem.
Why, Eleanor, I must scold you sternly. Do you not have worldly wealth at your command beyond the reach of imagination? And will you still be hatching treacherous plans enough to ruin your husband and yourself from honor's lofty peak to shame's ravine? Away from me, I'll hear no more.
Oh, my good lord, why are you so upset with Eleanor for telling you her dreams?
I am happy again. Do not be angry.
My Lord Protector, it is His Highness's pleasure that you prepare to journey to St. Albans, where the King and Queen are going hawking.
I will. Nell, will you ride with us?
Oh, yes, my good lord, I'll follow after. Were I a man, and next in line, I would remove these tedious stumbling blocks and pave my way upon their headless necks. But being a woman, I must not be lax to play my part in history's pageant. Come, Mistress Jourdain, come in. There's no one here but you and I.
Jesus preserve your majesty.
What's this? Your Majesty? I am the Duchess.
Oh, but by God's grace and my advice, your grace's title shall be multiplied.
Oh, yes, indeed. You are a cunning witch. Are you prepared to do what I desire?
I promise this, to manifest your highness. A spirit raised from deep within the earth shall answer each and every question your highness desires.
Oh, very well. Well, I will begin to think my questions up. When we return from St. Albans, I'll turn my full attention to this matter.
Dame Eleanor brings gold to call this wish, and yet I have gold that comes from other shores. I dare not say the rich cardinal in the newly knighted Suffolk, and yet I find it so. For to be plain, knowing Dame Eleanor's ambitious spirits, they've hired me to undermine the Duchess. My magic will be the Duchess's ruin, and her disgrace shall be the fall of Gloucester. Whatever happens, I shall have my gold from all.
My lord of Suffolk, tell me, is this the custom? Is this the fashion in the court of England? Is this the government of the British Isle? And is this the royalty of England's king? What? Should King Henry still be a mere pupil under the surly governance of Gloucester? Do I not have the title of a queen, and yet I must be subject to a duke? Suffolk, when you were in the town of Tours, and jousted once in honor of my love, stealing all the ladies' hearts in France, I thought King Henry must resemble you in courage, manners, or even in physique. But all his thoughts are good on holiness. I wish the college of the cardinals would choose him pope, carry him to Rome, and set the triple crown upon his head. Now there's an occupation he deserves.
Madam, be patient. As I was the cause your highness came to England, so shall I do my best to make your grace content.
Beside the protector, we have Winchester, the overbearing churchman, Somerset, Buckingham, and grumbling York, the least of which is stronger here in England than the king.
And the man who can do most of all cannot do more in England than the Nevilles. Salisbury and Warwick are no simple peers.
None of those lords disturb me half as much as that proud lady, the Lord Protector's wife. She sweeps through the court, her ladies all in tow, more like an empress than Gloucester's wife. Strangers in court mistake her for the queen. She wears the duke's vast fortune on her back, and in her heart she scorns our poverty. Shall I not live to be revenged on her, sneering, low-born strumpet that she is?
Let her be. And madam, listen to me, for I am rash to counsel you in this. Although we do not like the cardinal, yet we must join with him and with the lords until we have disgraced Duke Gloucester. As for the Duke of York, his fresh complaint will benefit him little. So, one by one, we will destroy them all until you shall steer the happy ship yourself.
York should be regent in France.
As far as I'm concerned, lords, I don't care whether it was Somerset or York.
If I ever misbehaved in France, then let me be denied the regentship.
If I ever prove myself unworthy of the title, let York regent, I will yield it.
Let there be no dispute. York is the better.
Ambitious Warwick, let your betters speak.
The cardinal's not my better on the field.
Warwick, every man here is your better.
May I live to be the best of all.
Peace, Warwick, and give us reasons, Buckingham, why Somerset should be preferred in this.
Because the king, I say, will have it so.
Madam, the king is old enough himself to render judgment. These are not women's concerns.
If he is old enough, then tell me why you need to be his majesty's protector.
I am protector of the realm and will resign if he desires.
Fine then, resign and stop your insolence. For since you've been king, for who is king but you, the Commonwealth has daily run aground. The Dauphin prevails beyond the seas, and all the nobles and peers of the realm toil as bondsmen to serve your sovereignty.
You've overtaxed the people. The church's coffers have been emptied out by your extravagance.
Your sumptuous buildings and your wife's attire have drained dry the public treasury.
Your sale of towns and privileges in France, if they were known, as people do suspect, would make you run around without your head. Give me my fan. What, minion, do you refuse? Beg your pardon, madam.
Proud French woman. Ooh, if I could come near you, I'd scratch my 10 Commandments in your face!
Sweet aunt, be quiet. She didn't mean to do it.
Didn't mean to do it? King, be careful. She'll pamper you and treat you like a child. Though in this home, a woman wears the pants, she shall not strike Dame Eleanor unpunished.
Lord Cardinal, I'll follow Eleanor and try to find out how Lord Humphrey's doing. She's been provoked. Her fury needs no spurs. She'll gallop fast enough toward her destruction.
My lords, my anger having dissipated after walking once around the quadrangle, I am here to discuss Commonwealth matters. As for your baseless, false objections, prove them and let the law deal with me. But for goodness sake, treat me as I in my duty love my king and my country. Now on to the matters at hand. Your Majesty, York is the fittest man to serve as your regent in France.
Before we vote, allow me to give you substantial reason, compelling and convincing, that York is the least suitable of men.
I'll tell you, Suffolk, why I am unfit. First, I cannot flatter you and keep my self-respect. Next, if I'm made regent to Somerset, the king's chief minister will keep me there without wages, money, or weaponry till France be retaken by the Dauphin. The last time I was puppet to his will, Paris was besieged, starved, and lost.
I can attest to that. And in this land, no worse a crime has ever been committed.
Peace, headstrong Warwick.
Prideful man. Why should I hold my peace?
I hope that York can justify himself in his accusations against Somerset.
Base villain and fool, I'll have your head for this insolence. I implore your royal majesty to let him face the strictness of the law.
Uncle, how can the law help us in this?
Let me pass judgment, if I may. Let Somerset serve as your regent in France, since aspersions have been cast on York. That is the law, and will be this Sir Humphrey's doom.
I humbly thank your royal majesty.
Come, Somerset, we'll see you sent away.
Come, Mistress Jourdain, and fulfill your promises.
Patience, good lady, wizards know their time. Deep night, dark night, silence of the night, the time of night when Troy was set ablaze, the time when screech owls cry and watchdog howls. This time best suits the work we have to do. Madam, do not fear when we rise up. We will entrap within this hollowed circle.
Atsum!
Asmath, my eternal God, whose name and power you tremble at, answer what you shall ask, for until you speak you shall not pass from here.
Ask what thou wilt, that I had said and done.
First of the king, what shall become of him?
The Duke yet lives that Henry shall depose, but him outlive and die a violent death.
What fate awaits the Duke of Somerset?
By water shall he die and take his end.
What fate awaits the Duke of Suffolk?
Let him shun castles, safer shall he be upon the sandy plains than where castles mounted stand. Have done, for more I hardly can endure.
Descent to darkness in the burning lake, treacherous fate be gone!
Yes, upon these traitors and their witch! What, madam, are you there? The king and commonwealth are deeply indebted to you for what you've done. My lord protector will, I have no doubt, see you well rewarded for these deeds.
Oh, not half so well as you, injurious Duke that threatens without cause.
True, madam, none at all. Oh, but what is this? Away with them and lock them tightly up, and in separate cells. You, madam, come with us. Jailer, take her with you. We'll lock up all your tools as evidence. All away!
Lord Buckingham, it seems you watched her well. A clever trick, and one to build upon. Come, my lord. The king now travels to St. Albans. With him, the husband of this lovely lady. Let a horseman rush this news to him. A sorry breakfast for the Lord Protector.
My lord of York, your grace shall give me leave to be the buck who seeks reward.
At your pleasure, my good lord.
In 7 years, I've never seen such sport, my lords, than hunting here along this brook. Yet the wind is high, and I'll bet 10 to 1 that my hawk, Oak Joan, has flown away.
But what great height, my lord, your falcon reached, and how much higher she flew than all the rest. To see God's hand in every single creature. Yes, men and birds are fond of climbing high.
It's no surprise, so please your majesty, my lord protector's hawks ascend so well. They know their master loves to be aloft, letting his thoughts soar higher than his bird.
My lord, it is a base ignoble mind that mounts no higher than a bird can fly.
I thought as much. He wants to top the clouds.
And what of that, good cardinal? Doesn't your grace wish to fly to heaven?
The treasury of everlasting joy.
Your heaven is on earth. Your eyes and thoughts fixed upon a crown. Your heart's own treasure. Pernicious protector. Dangerous peer to freely flatter king and commonwealth.
Has the cardinal grown too bold? Can such anger live in heavenly creatures? Mask your evil with your holiness, if you can.
No evil, sir, no more than should be seem so good a quarrel and so bad appear.
As who, sir?
As you, sir, so please your lordly lord protectorship.
Suffolk, England knows your insolence.
And your ambition, Gloucester.
The winds grow high, so do your tempers, lords. This music is so grating to my heart. But when such tones clash, what hope of harmony? I beg you, lords, let me calm this strife. What news do you bring, Buckingham?
News that my heart trembles to unfold. A group of wicked people set on evil, organized by Lady Eleanor, the protector's wife and ringleader in this, have acted dangerously against your state, conniving with witches and with conjurers, whom we in fact have caught, red-handed here, raising wicked spirits from the ground, demanding King Henry's life and death, and others from your highness's privy council, as I will soon explain to you in full.
Oh God, what mischief make the wicked ones, who merely heap confusion back on them?
Gloucester, observe the soiling of your nest. You do best to behave faultlessly.
Madam, as for myself, I cry to heaven how much I love my king and country. As for my wife, that is another matter. I am sorry to hear what I have heard. She is noble, but if she have forgot grace and honor, and conversed with those who, like pitch, will defile nobility, I ban her from my bed and company, and serve her up as prey to law and shame, as one who dishonors Gloucester's honest name.
Well, for tonight at least, let us rest here. Tomorrow we'll return again to London to look into this business thoroughly and bring these criminals before a judge and let the scales of justice weigh their case, whose plates hang even, whose righteous cause prevails.
Now, good lords Salisbury and Warwick, our simple supper ended. Let me now on this secluded walk convince myself by asking your opinion of my title's doubtless claim to England's royal crown.
My lord, I long to hear about it all.
Sweet York, begin, and if your claim is good, the Nevilles are your subjects to command.
Well then, Edward III, my lords, had 7 sons. The first, Edward the Black Prince, Prince of Wales, died before his father and left behind him Richard, his only son, who, after Edward III's death, reigned as king till Henry Bolingbroke, Duke of Lancaster, seized on the realm, deposed the rightful king, sent his poor queen to France, her native land, and him to Pomfret, where, as you all know, harmless Richard was traitorously murdered.
The Duke has told the truth. Thus got the House of Lancaster the crown.
Which now they hold by force, and not by right. For Richard, the first son's heir being dead, the offspring of the next son should have reigned.
But William of Hatfield died without an heir.
The third son, the Duke of Clarence, from whose line I claim the crown, had a daughter Philippa, who married Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March. Edmund fathered Roger, Earl of March, who had children Edmund, Anne, and Eleanor.
This Edmund, in the reigning Bolingbroke, as I have read, laid claim to the crown and would have been king except for Owen Glendower, who kept him in captivity till he died. But to the rest.
His eldest sister, Anne, my mother, who was heiress to the crown, by her I claimed the kingdom. She was heir to Roger, Earl of March, who was the son of Edmund Mortimer, who married Philippa, Lionel, Duke of Clarence's only daughter. So, if the offspring of the elder son succeed before the younger, I am king.
But plain deriving to be any plainer. Then, Salisbury, let's kneel together. And on this private ground, we'll be the first that shall salute our rightful sovereign in honor of his birthright to the crown.
Long live our sovereign Richard, England's king.
I thank you, lords, but I am not your king till I be crowned, and till my sword be stained with heart blood of the house of Lancaster. In these dangerous days, do as I do. Ignore Winchester's brazen haughtiness, Beaufort's pride, and Somerset's ambition, Buckingham, and all the rest of them, till they have snared that virtuous prince, the Duke of Gloucester. That's who they seek. And they, in seeking him, shall find their deaths, if York can prophesy.
Let's end our talk. We know your mind in full.
My heart assures me that one day the Earl of Warwick shall make the Duke of York a king.
And Neville, I likewise assure myself that Richard shall live to make the Earl of Warwick the greatest man in England, but the king.
In sight of God and us, your guilt is great. Receive the sentence of the law for sins, which are by God's own laws condemned to death. The witch in Smithfield will be burned to ashes. Madam, being of more noble birth, shall be stripped in life of every shred of honor, shall, after 3 days long of public penance, live in lifelong banishment.
I welcome banishment as I would death.
Be patient, gentle Nell. Forget this grief. So cares and joys abound as seasons change.
Oh, Gloucester, teach me to forget myself. For while I am your married wife, and you a prince, protector of this land, I should not be trodden out like this.
Eleanor, you see the law has judged you. I cannot pardon what the law has condemned.
Suffolk and Margaret, York and Winchester have spread a net to entrap your wings, and fly how you will, they will ensnare you yet.
Stop this, Eleanor. Your mind is all confused. I must fight back before I be accused. I beg you, train your heart to cherish patience. These few days' madness will soon be dissolved. My tears are full of grief. I beg your Majesty to let me follow. solace and needs sorrow as much as my old age needs ease.
Stay, Duke of Gloucester. Before you go, give up your staff. From now on, Henry will be his own protector, and God will be my hope, my anchor, my guide, and lantern to my feet. So, Gloucester, go in peace, no less beloved than when you were protector to your king.
God and King Henry govern England's realm. Give up your staff, sir, and give the king his realm.
My staff. Here, my dear Henry, is my staff. I discard it willingly, just as willingly as your father Henry gave it to you, and freely I lay it at your feet, as others would ambitiously receive it. My dear Henry, when I'm dead and gone, may honorable peace attend your throne.
Why, then, Henry is king, Margaret queen, then Humphrey Duke of Gloucester, barely himself who bears so deep a wound. Or really, too, his lady banished and a limb left off. The staff of honor seized, let it stay there where it was meant to be in Henry's hand.
Thus droops this lofty pine as it decays. Thus Eleanor's pride dies in her youngest days.
Why has Lord of Gloucester not arrived? It's not like him to be the last to come, whatever reason keeps him from us now.
Can't you see, or will you not observe how his behavior has been strangely altered? He bears himself with such a majesty, and lately has become so insolent, so proud, so pompous, so unlike himself.
He used to be so mild and affable, but meet him now. He knits his brow and gives an angry glare, and passes by without the slightest bow, disdaining manners that are to be expected.
Small dogs are not regarded when they growl, but great men tremble when the lion roars. And Gloucester is no little man in England. Take note that he is near you in succession, and if you fall, he'll be the next to mount. Disprove my allegation if you can, or else admit my words have hit the mark.
Your Highness clearly understands the Duke, and had I been the first to speak my mind, I might have told your Grace's story. The Duchess, by his obvious instigation, I swear, began her worship of the devil, to cause our sovereign's fall by wicked means.
Our kinsman Gloucester is as innocent of plotting treason to my royal person as is a nursing lamb or harmless dove.
Oh, what's more dangerous than foolish trust? Take care, my lord. The welfare of us all depends on putting that false man to death.
All happiness unto my lord the king. Pardon, my lord, for being delayed so long.
No, Gloucester. Know that you have come too soon. Unless you are more loyal than you seem, I do arrest you of high treason here.
How am I guilty? Who accuses me?
It is thought, my lord, that you took bribes from France.
In your protectorship, you did devise such never heard of tortures for offenders that England was accused of tyranny.
My lord, these faults are slight and easily answered, but you have been accused of greater crimes, which you cannot so easily shirk off.
I do arrest you in his highness's name and conduct you into the cardinal's custody to lock you up until your trial day.
My lord of Gloucester, it is my special hope that you will clear yourself from all suspicion. My conscience tells me you are innocent.
My dearest king, these are dangerous days. Virtue has been choked by foul ambition, and justice has been exiled from the land. As for you, my sovereign lady, you and others have laid groundless objections on my head, and you have worked your hardest to stir up my dearest lord into mine enemy. I wish my fear were false. Would that it were, but my dear Henry, I fear your ruin.
My lord, his ranting is unbearable.
He'll twist our words and keep us here all day. Lord Cardinal, he is your prisoner.
Sir, we'll see him in the jail.
Oh, my Duke of Gloucester. In your face I see the map of honor, truth, and loyalty. Yet has the hour come that I find you false or fear your faith? What sullen star now envies your estate, that these great lords and our Queen Margaret seek the ruin of your harmless life? You never did them wrong, nor any man.
My lords, the ice melts with the sun's hot beams. Henry mishandles the affairs of state, too full of foolish pity. Believe me, lords, it would be very wise that Gloucester should depart this world with haste to rid us of the fear we have of him.
It is prudent policy that he should die, but yet we need a reason for his death, for he should be condemned by course of law.
And to my mind, that is no policy. The king will still attempt to save his life. But let's not split hairs in arguing how to slay him, whether by traps, by snares, by subtlety. Sleeping or waking, it matters not, as long as he is dead. It's good deceit that kills him first, who first intends deceit.
Speak your consent.
Here is my hand. The deed is well worth doing.
And so say I.
And I. And now that we have spoken it, it matters not who questions our decision.
Great lords, from Ireland I swiftly come to tell of rebels that our English troops have risen up and have begun to fight. Send reinforcements, lords, and stop the battle before the wound becomes incurable.
A breach that wants a quick and certain stop. What counsel do you give this weighty cause?
That Somerset be sent there as our regent. It's right that lucky ruler be employed. Look at the good luck that he had in France.
If York, with all his devious policy, had been regent there instead of me, he never would have stayed in France so long.
No, not to lose it all as you have done. I would have rather swiftly lost my life than bring a burden of dishonor home by staying there so long that all was lost.
Why, then this spark might light a raging fire if wind and fuel are brought to feed it with. No more, good York, sweet Somerset, be still. If you be regent there, it might have been very well far worse than his.
What? Worse than nothing? No, then damn you all.
And in that all you must be damned as well.
My lord of York, take on your fortune now. The brutal Irish are in arms and wet their clay with blood of Englishmen. Will you lead a force into Ireland and try your luck against the Irishmen?
I will, my lord, if it please his majesty.
Why, our authority is his consent, and what we do enact, he shall confirm. So, noble York, you take this action in hand.
My lord of Suffolk, within 14 days I expect to meet my men at Bristol. From there I will ship them all for Ireland. Now or never, York. Steel your thoughts and change fearfulness to resolution. Be what you hope to be, or damn to death the thing that you are. It is not worth enjoying. Let pale-faced fear consume the low-born man, and find no harbor in a royal heart. Faster than spring showers comes thought on thought, my brain busier than the toiling spider weaves complex webs to trap my enemies. Well, nobles, well, how very shrewdly done to send me packing with a team of men. I lacked men, and you will give them to me. I take it kindly, and yet be well assured, you have put sharp weapons in a mad man's hands. While I in Ireland nourish a mighty band, I will stir up in England some black storm to blow 10,000 souls to heaven or hell. And this lethal storm shall not stop raging until the golden crown's upon my head. For an ancient tune to my intent, I have seduced a headstrong Kentishman, John Cade of Ashford, to raise an insurrection as best he can, under the title of John Mortimer. I'll make this devil here my substitute. By this I shall find out the people's mind, how they perceive the house and claim of York. Why, then I come from Ireland with my strength, to reap the harvest which that rascal sowed. For Gloucester being dead, as he shall be, and Henry set aside, the next for me.
Run, my lord of Suffolk. Let him know we've killed all Gloucester just as commanded.
I wish we had him. What have we just done? Have you ever seen a man so penitent?
Here comes my lord of Suffolk.
Have you dispatched this thing?
Yes, my lord, he's dead.
That's good. Go to my house, go quickly. I will reward you for this dangerous deed. The king and all the peers will be here. Did you remake the bed? Do everything as I instructed you.
We have to, my lord.
Go then, get out.
Go. Quickly call our uncle to our presence to see if he is guilty as proclaimed.
I'll call him right away, my noble lord.
My lords, take your places, and I beg you all, proceed no harsher against our Uncle Gloucester than clear and truthful evidence allows. Let him be innocent till proven guilty.
God help us, any malice should prevail that may condemn a faultless nobleman. Pray he may acquit him of all suspicion.
I thank you, Meg. These words do reassure me. But what's this? Why are you pale and trembling? Where's our uncle? What's the matter, Suffolk?
Dead, my lord. Dead in his bed. Gloucester's dead.
Heavens, God forbid.
God.
Heavenly God.
Oh, God. Comfort my sovereign. Gracious Henry, comfort.
What? Does the Lord of Suffolk comfort me? Don't hide your poison with such sugared words. Don't lay your hands on me, I tell you, stop. Their touch is frightening as a serpent's sting. Dreadful messenger, out of my sight. Upon your eyeballs, murderous tyranny sits in grim majesty to fright the world.
Why do you chide my lord of Suffolk thus? Although the duke was enemy, yet he laments his death most Christian-like. As for myself, though he was foe to me, if liquid tears are heart-offending groans, are blood-consuming sighs restore his life, I would be blind with weeping, sick with groans, look pale as criminals with blood-drinking sighs, and all to have the noble duke alive.
Oh, woe is me for Gloucester, wretched man.
Oh, woe is me? More wretched than he is? What? Do you turn away and hide your face? I am no loathsome leper. Look at me. Is all your comfort shut in Gloucester's tomb? Why? Then Margaret never was your joy. Erect a statue then, and worship it, and hang my picture on an alehouse wall. Was I for this night racked upon the sea, and twice by adverse winds driven back toward my native land? When the storm repelled us from your shore, I stood upon the deck and braved the tempest. And when the dusky sky began to rob my earnest gaping sight of your land's view, I took a costly jewel from my neck. It was a heart circled with diamonds, and threw it towards your shore. The sea received it, and so I wished your body with my heart. The waves upon the sea refused to drown me, knowing you'd rather have me drowned on shore from salty tears. Because of your kindness, the sharp rocks cowered in the sinking sands would not dash me with their jagged edges, because your flinting heart is sharp and steel. I can no more. Die, Margaret, for Henry weeps that you have lived so long.
It is reported, mighty sovereign, the Duke of Gloucester traitorously has been murdered at Suffolk and the Cardinal's instigation. The people, like an angry hive of bees who've lost their leader, scatter up and down and care not who they sting in his revenge. I've calmed their angry mutiny until they hear the details of his death.
But he is dead, good lord, it is true. But how he came to die, God knows, not Henry. Enter his chamber, view his breathless corpse, and then report upon his sudden death.
That I will do, my lord.
Oh, you who judge all things, arrest my thoughts that struggle to persuade my soul that violent hands were laid on Gloucester's life. If I falsely suspect, forgive me, God, for judgment's yours and yours alone to make.
As surely as my soul intends to live, I do believe that violent hands were laid upon the life of our most honored Duke.
Give me the facts, Lord Warwick, that make you sure.
I saw the way the blood had settled in his face. I've often seen a timely parted corpse, ashen face, meager, drained of blood. But Gloucester's face was stark and full of blood, his eyes protruding more than when he lived, staring up in horror like a strangled man. His hair upright, his nostrils stretched in struggle, his hands spread wide apart as someone who reached and tugged at life, but was by strength subdued. There's no doubt he was murdered here.
Then you, it seems, suspect these noble men as guilty of Gloucester's sudden death.
Whomever finds the heifer dead and bleeding and sees nearby a butcher with an axe will suspect him to be the slaughterer.
Are you the butcher, Suffolk? Where's your
I have no knife to slaughter sleeping men. Say, if you dare, proud Lord Warwick, that I am guilty in Duke Gloucester's death.
What dares not Warwick if false Suffolk dares him?
He cannot con his disrespectful spirit, nor cease to be a condescending critic, though Suffolk dares him 20,000 times.
Madam, with reverence may I say, be quiet. Every word you speak on his behalf is slander to your royal dignity.
Thick-headed lord and common in demeanor. If ever a lady wronged her noble lord so much, your mother took into her guilty bed some bold, untutored peasant, and noble stock was grafted with a crab tree, whose fruit you are, and nothing of the Neville's noble race.
But that my sovereign's presence holds me back, I would. False, murderous coward, on your knee make you beg pardon for your recent words, and say that it was your mother that you mean, that you yourself were born a common bastard. And after all this cowardly submission, give you your due and send your soul to hell. Malicious murderer of sleeping men!
You'll be awake while I do shed your blood, if from here you dare to go with me.
Come with me now, or I'll drag you away. Unworthy though you are, I'll fight with you, and do some service to Duke Humphrey's ghost.
No stronger breastplate than an honest heart. A man with a just claim is triple-armed, and he is naked, though encased in steel, whose conscience is corrupted by injustice.
Suffolk! 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 We demand justice!
What's this, lords? Your angry weapons drawn here in our presence? And dare you be so bold? Why, what tumultuous racket have we here?
The traitorous Warwick and the men of Bury all attacked me, mighty sovereign.
Answer, Lord! Answer, sirs, stand apart! The king shall know your mind!
My lord, the commoners send you word by me, unless Lord Suffolk's put to death directly, or else banished far from England's territories. They will by violence tear him from your palace and torture him with grievous, lingering death. They say he murdered good Gloucester. They say they fear he'll cause your death as well.
It's like the common folk, unpolished brutes, to send their sovereign such a foolish message.
Go, Salisbury, and tell them all for me I thank them for their tender loving care. And even had I not received their warning, I still would have done what they implored. For my thoughts do hourly foretell disaster rushing to my state from Suffolk. Therefore I swear, by the grace of God, he shall not contaminate this air but 3 days longer, upon pain of death.
Oh, Henry, let me plead for gentle Suffolk.
Ungentle queen, to call him gentle Suffolk. No more, I say. If you will plead for him, you will only make my anger even stronger. I would have kept my word if I had said it, but when I swear, it's irrevocable. If after 3 days' time you are found here on any ground that I am ruler of, the world shall not be ransomed for your life.
Bad luck and sorrow fall after you, with threefold vengeance set upon your steps!
Stop! Gentle queen, stop these curses and let your Suffolk take his troubled leave.
Fie, coward woman and soft-hearted wretch! Do you lack nerve to curse your enemy?
A plague on them. Tell me why I should curse them. If curses could kill like the mandrake's groan, I would invent as sharply piercing sounds, as cursed and harsh and horrible to hear, delivered strongly through my gritted teeth with just as many signs of deadly hate as lean-faced envy in her loathsome cave. My tongue would stumble on my earnest words, and even then my heavy heart would break to fail to curse them. Poison be their drink. Gall, worse than gall, the daintiest that they taste. Their favorite shade, a grove of cypress trees, their softest touch, sharp as a lizard's sting. Their music, frightful as the serpent's hiss, and ominous screech owls make the concert full. All the foul terrors in darkest hell itself.
Enough, sweet Suffolk. You torment yourself. And these dreaded curses, like sun on glass, or like an overloaded gun, recoil and turn their natural force upon yourself.
You urged me curse and now you help me stop.
Oh, I beg you cease. Give me your hand, that I may moisten it with mournful tears. The rain of heaven shall not wet this place, to wash away my woeful monuments. If this kiss were printed on your hand, this seal might then remind you of these lips through which I breathe 1,000 sighs for you. So take my leave, and let me know my grief. I can only guess it while you're here, as if my mind were fixed upon a famine. Go. Right away. Go! Don't speak to me. Oh, go not yet! Two friends who are condemned, embrace and kiss and bid 10,000 leaves. It's worse to part 100 times than die. Yet now farewell, and farewell life with thee.
And Suffolk is banished 10 times over, once by the king and 3 times thrice by thee. This land means nothing if you're not here. A wilderness is populous enough if Suffolk have your heavenly company. For where you are, there is the world itself. And where you are not, desolation.
Now you must leave. You know the king is coming. If you're found for me, you're good as dead.
If I leave you here, I cannot stay. I cannot live. And to die before you would be nothing but a pleasant slumber in your lap. Here, I could breathe my soul into the air, as gentle and mild as a little baby dying at its mother's tender breast. Out of your sight, I would be raging mad and cry out for your hand to close my eyes, to have you stop my mouth with your sweet lips. So you should either keep my soul from fleeing, or else I should breathe it then into your body, where it can live in sweet Elysium. Oh, let me stay, befall what may befall.
Away. Though parting be a fretful corrosive, it is fitting to a mortal wound. To France, sweet Suffolk, let me hear from you, for wherever you are upon this globe, I have messengers to find you out.
I go.
And take my heart with you.
A jewel, locked inside the saddest casket that ever did contain a thing of worth. Even as a sundered ship we part. This way fall I to death.
This way for me.
The gaudy, noisy, and remorseful day is crept into the bosom of the sea, and now the howling wolves arouse the dragons that drag the tragic, melancholy night, who with their drowsy, slow, and weary wings clap dead men's graves, and from their smoking jaws breathe foul, contagious darkness in the air, and so bring forth the prisoners we have taken.
Spare my life! You will be paid whatever ransom you desire.
Do you fear death?
Paltry, low-born man, the blood of King Henry, noble blood of Lancaster must not be shed by such a vile man.
Shall I stab this wretched man?
Take him away, strike off his head.
You dare not risk your own.
Foul traitor, whose filth and dirt pollutes the crystal spring where England drinks. Go up for now, stop your yawning outburst, swallowing the treasure of the round. Your lips that kiss the queen shall kiss the ground. And you, who smiled upon Duke Humphrey's death against the senseless wind, shall grin again, who into contempt shall grin and fin again to again. And you'll be married to the hags of hell for daring to unite the Lord with the daughter of a worthless king, having neither subject, wealth, nor crown.
The princely Warwick and his clan, whose dreadful swords were never drawn in vain, despising you, are rising up in arms. And now the house of York, thrust from the crown by shameful murder of a guiltless king, and lofty, proud, encroaching tyranny burns with revenging fire. The commoners of Kent are up in arms, and all because of you. Away with him.
Suffolk's imperial tongue is stern and rough, used to commanding, not pleading for favor. Far be it I should honor men like this with humble plea. No, let my head stoop to the block, then my knees should bend to any save the God of heaven and my king.
Haul him away and let him talk no more. Leave his head and lifeless body there until the queen, his mistress, buries it.
spectacle. I will take his head to the king. He will revenge it, or else his friends will. So will the queen who living loved him dear.
Come, get a sword. No one is made of wood. He has enough arms for 2 days.
Then they must be in need of sleep.
Holla! The dressworker needs to dress the Commonwealth and turn it inside out and give it a new life.
Well, there is great need for it as threadbare. Well, I say England has gone downhill since gentlemen came in fashion.
Oh, miserable age. No one appreciates a virtuous craftsman.
The nobles scorn all those in leather aprons.
You have hit it on the head. There is no sign of a fine mind and a hard hand. We, God king, so named by our presumed father. My father was a Mortimer, my mother a Plantagenet. Therefore, I am from an honorable house. Silence! I am valiant. I am able to endure much, and I do not fear sword nor fire. Therefore, be brave, for your captain is brave and vows reformation of the state! Yeah! In England, 7 halfpenny loaves shall be sold for a penny. Yeah! Yes, and I'll make it a felony to drink small beer. The entire realm shall belong to the common folk. And in Cheapside, the marketplace shall be replanted with grass. For when I am king, as king I shall be. There shall be no money. Everyone will eat and drink at my expense. And all dress the same and get along like brothers. And worship me as their lord. How now? What's this?
The clerk of shadow. He can write and read and keep accounts. We saw him correcting schoolboy papers.
Here's a villain.
Oh, he has a book in his pocket with red letters in it.
Oh, he's a wizard then. No, he can draw up legal documents and write in court hands. Oh, come here, fellow. I must examine you. What is your name?
Emmanuel?
And do you sign your name or just make an X like plain, honest dealing gentlemen?
Sir, I thank God I've been brought up so well that I can sign my name.
An inkwell around his neck.
Escape! Escape! Sir Humphrey Stafford and his brother are closing fast with the king's forces.
And he's just a knight, is he?
Yes.
Oh, well, then to match him, I'll knight myself. Rise up, Sir John Mortimer. Now, let's attack him! Yeah!
Rebellious peasants, filth and scum of Kent, bound for the gallows, lay down your weapons, return to your cottages, forsake this fool, leave now, and the king will be merciful.
But angry, wrathful, and inclined to blood if you refuse. Therefore yield or die.
I do not care for silken-shirted snakes. It is to you, good people, that I speak, over whom someday I wish to reign, for I am the rightful heir unto the crown.
Hey, the Duke has taught you this.
Oh, no, he lies, for I have invented this myself. Go on and tell the king that from me, for his father's sake, Henry V, who sent boys off to gamble for French crowns, that I am content that he shall reign, but I'll be his protector.
Well, seeing that peaceful words will not prevail, assail them with the army of the king.
Will you credit this peasant who doesn't understand a word he says?
False weasel!
Let it be known throughout the villages that all followers of Cades are traitors, that those who leave the battle before it is over shall, even in the presence of their wives and children, be hung from the doorways. If you're friends of the king, follow me.
And if you're friends of the common folk, follow me. Now, leave yourselves there for liberty!
It makes it fearful and degenerate. So think about revenge and cease to weep. But who can cease to weep and look at this? His head may lie here on my throbbing breast, but where's the body that I should embrace?
How does your grace answer the rebels' call?
I'll send some holy bishop to entreat, for God forbid so many simple souls should perish by the sword.
Oh, barbarous villains! This lovely face has rolled like a wandering planet over me. But it could not compel them to relent, who were unworthy to behold the same.
What's this, madam? Still mourning and lamenting Suffolk's death? I am afraid, my love, if I had died, you would not have mourned as much for me.
I would not mourn, but die for you, my love. Jack Cade has overtaken London Bridge. The citizens flee, abandoning their houses. The wild rabble, thirsting after prey, join with the traitor, and they jointly swear to spoil the city and your royal court. Jack Cade proclaims himself Lord Mortimer, and openly proclaims your grace usurper, and vows to crown himself in Westminster. And, oh, scholars, lawyers, courtiers, gentlemen, they call false weasels and intend their death.
Oh, graceless men, they know not what they do.
My lord, don't linger. Take a horse and flee.
Come, Margaret, God our hope will comfort us.
My hope is gone now that Suffolk's dead.
Now Mortimer is lord of this city, and here, upon the London throne, I charge and command that, at the city's cost, the gutters shall run nothing but claret wine for the first year of our reign. And from now on, I proclaim it treason for anyone who fails to call me Lord.
Jack Cade! Jack Cade!
Kill him. My lord, an army has gathered at Smithfield. Well, come on, let's go fight them. Let's go burn the London Bridge on fire. And if you can, tear down the tower too. Tear down the Savoy, and the others go to the ends of the church. Yeah, down with them all! Up Fish Street, down St. Magus's corner. Kill them, knock them down, throw them in the Thames. What noise is this? Who dares be so bold to command retreat or parley when I command them killed?
Here they are that venture to disturb you. No, Cade, we are ambassadors from the king to the commoners whom you've misled, and here pronounce free pardon to all that will forsake you and go home in peace.
What say you, countrymen? Will you relent and kneel to mercy while it's offered to you, or let a rebel lead you to your deaths? Those of you who love the king and wants his pardon, flip his cap up and cry, God save his majesty. Those of you who disrespect his father, King Henry V, that made all of France to quake, shake his weapon at us and cast us by.
God save the king! God save the king! Buckingham and Clifford, are you so bold? And you, base peasants, do you believe them? Do you want to be hanged with your pardons around your necks? I never thought I would see you surrender these ancient arms until you had recovered your freedoms. Let them break your backs with burdens, steal your house from underneath you. For me, I'll fend for myself. And God's curse upon you all!
We'll follow Cade! We'll follow Cade! Cade, the son of King Henry V, that you explain yourselves will go with him. Will he conduct you through the heart of France and make the lowliest of you earls and dukes? Alas, he has no home, no place to go. He only knows how to live by looting, unless by robbing from your friends and us. Wouldn't it be a shame if in this chaos the fearful French, whom you recently vanquished, shipped their army off to vanquish you? In this civil unrest, I think I see them already lurking in London streets, crying "Glad" to everyone they meet. Better 10,000 low-born Cades should perish than you should ever bow to mercy to a Frenchman. To France! To France! And get what you have lost. Spare England, for it is your native coast. Henry has money, and you are strong and brave. With God on our side, victory is ours!
Clifford! Clifford! We'll follow the king and Clifford! Was ever a feather so gently blown back and forth as this multitude? The name of Henry V draws them into 100 mischiefs and makes them leave me desolate. I see them conspiring to capture me. I cannot stay here.
What has he fled? Hurry and follow
than I do now. No sooner had I crept out of my cradle than I was made a king at 9 months old. Was ever a subject long to be a king? As much as I do long to be a subject.
Health and good tidings to your majesty.
Why, Buckingham? Has the traitor Cade been captured? Or has he just withdrawn to gather strength?
He's fled, my lord, but his people yield, and humbly expect your highness's judgment of life or death.
Oh, heavens, open your everlasting gates to entertain my vows of thanks and praise. People, today you have redeemed your lives and shown how well you love your prince and country. And so, with thanks and pardon to you all, I dismiss you to your separate counties.
God save the king! God save the king! Please allow me to inform your grace. The Duke of York has just arrived from Ireland, and with a warlike and a mighty army of sturdy foot soldiers, brave Rother's Hall, directly marches here in proud display, and keeps proclaiming as he marches on, the only goal his force has is to remove Somerset, whom he regards a traitor.
Thus stands my state, torn between Cade and York. It's like a ship that, having escaped a tempest, is quickly calmed and boarded by a pirate. But Cade is driven back, his men dispersed. Now York in arms has come to second him. I beg you, Buckingham, go off and meet the Duke of York. Ask him what's the reason for this army. The Duke of Somerset has gone to prison willingly, and I have sent him to the Tower. Come, wife, let's go and learn to govern better, for England may still curse my wretched reign.
York comes from Ireland to claim his right and pluck the crown from King Henry's head. What's this? Buckingham come to disturb me? The king has sent him here. I must pretend. York, if you mean well, I greet you well. Lord Buckingham, I accept your greeting. Are you a messenger or else a friend? A messenger from Henry, our honored king. You know the reason of these arms in peace. Buckingham, I beg you, pardon me. My mind was troubled with deep melancholy. The reason I have brought this army here is to remove proud Somerset from the king, disloyal to his grace and to the state. You have made your plans on false presumptions, and your arms are only to this end. The king has acquiesced to your demand. The Duke of Somerset is in the Tower. Upon your honor, he's a prisoner. Upon my honor, he's a prisoner. Then, Buckingham, I will dismiss my men. And let my sovereign, virtuous King Henry, command my eldest son, no, all my men, as pledges of my loyalty and love. Lands, goods, armor, horses, anything I have is his to use if Somerset must die. York, I will extend your gracious offer. Let's go together to his highness.
Buckingham, does York mean us no harm, since you and he are walking arm in arm?
York presents himself unto your highness in all obedience and humbleness.
Then what's the purpose of these troops you bring?
To take away the traitor Somerset.
See, Buckingham, the Queen brings news of Somerset.
Somerset is released. He shall not hide with your 1,000 Yorks, but boldly stand and meet him face to face.
How's this? Is Somerset at liberty? False king. Why have you broken faith with me, knowing I can hardly stand abuse? Did I call you king? No. You're no king. Not fit to rule and govern multitudes. A head of yours does not deserve a crown. That gold must rest upon these brows of mine. Step aside. By heaven, you shall rule no more over him who heaven wrought to be your ruler.
Oh, monstrous traitor, we arrest you, York, of capital treason against the king and crown. Obey, audacious traitor. Kneel for grace.
I should kneel. First, let me ask of these if they can watch me kneel before a man. So, call in my son to be my bail. I know how upon his sword to get me out of jail immediately.
Call Clifford here. Ask him to quickly come to see whether the bastard son of York shall be the fonder to his traitor father.
Oh, blood-soaked Frenchman, England's bloody sword, the son of York, your better in his birth, will be his father's bail. And death to those who for my freedom shall refuse my son? See where he comes. I know he'll make it good.
And here comes Clifford to deny their vow.
Good health and gladness to my gracious lord.
I thank you, Clifford. Tell me now, what's new? And no, do not frighten me with angry looks. I am your sovereign, Clifford. Kneel again. For making this mistake, I pardon you.
This is my King York. make no mistake. But you mistake me much to think I do. To bedlam with him, is the man gone mad?
Yes, Clifford. A wild and greedy temperament makes him oppose himself against his king.
It's a traitor! Take him to the tower and chop off that traitorous head of his!
He is arrested, but will not obey. His son says he shall plead his case for him.
Will you not, my son?
Yes, my noble father. If my words will help, if not, my weapon shall.
Why, what a brood of traitors we have here!
Look in a mirror and call your image one. I am your king, you false-hearted traitor! Come here to the stake my brave bear, that the very shaking of his chains may terrify these savage dogs. Ask Salisbury and Warwick to attend.
Are this your bear? We'll bait this cup to death and manacle the handler in the chains
I've
that
often
the
seen
baiting place.
I've often seen a wild, vicious dog run back and bite because he was restrained, who being injured by a bear's sharp claw, tucked his tail between his legs and cried. Such a service will be shown to you if you show resistance to Lord Warwick.
Go pile of rat, foul and digested lump, as crooked as your manners as your shame.
No! We shall shortly fan the flames of battle.
Careful, or by those flames you may burn yourselves.
Why, Warwick and Salisbury, have you forgotten how to vow? Oh, where is faith? Oh, where is loyalty? Will you prepare for death and wage a war and shame your honored name with blood? For shame, bend your knee in duty to me that bows toward the grave and end of life.
My lord, I have considered of myself the title of this most renowned duke, and in good conscience do consider him the rightful heir to England's royal seat.
Did you not swear allegiance unto me?
I did.
Can you dispense with heaven for such an oath?
It is great sin to swear upon sin, but greater sin to keep a sinful oath. Who can be bound by any solemn vow to do a murderous deed and have no other reason for this wrong than that who is bound by solemn oath?
This subtle traitor knows to reason wisely.
Tell Buckingham to quickly arm himself.
Call Buckingham and all the friends you have. I am reserved for death or dignity.
I promise you the first of dreams come true.
You'd best go back to bed and dream again to keep you from the stormy battlefield.
I am resolved to bear a greater storm than any you can conjure up today.
So, my victorious father, let us arm to quell the rebels and their accomplices.
Fie! Charity and shame do not stick in spite, for you shall dine with Jesus Christ.
No, thou cripple, that is more than you can tell.
For if you don't dine in heaven, you'll surely dine in hell.
I should love your brave and noble bearing, except that you're my sworn enemy.
I should esteem your teenage prowess, except you prove yourself no more to be a loathsome traitor.
So let it help me now against your sword, as I in justice and true right express it.
I give my body and soul to this
A
action!
dreadful wager, let's at it instantly!
Ah! Ah! The end crowns the words.
Thus war has given you peace, for you are still. Peace with his soul, heaven, if it is your will.
Shame and destruction. Nothing but confusion. Fear frames disorder, and disorder wounds where it should guard. O war, you son of hell, whom angry heavens make their scourge. Throw on the frozen bosoms of our party hot coals of vengeance. Let not one soldier flee. Oh, let the vile world end, and let the final trumpet blast his sound. Particular and petty noise shall cease. Was it ordained for you, my dearest father, to lose your youth in peace, and to achieve the silver livery of cautious age and in reverence and declining years, thus to die in ruffian battle? Even at this sight, my heart is turned into stone, and while it's mine, it's pitiless. York doesn't spare our fathers. neither shall I spare their babes. From now on, I will never let pity move me. If I need another infant of the House of York, I'll cut it into just as many little pieces. I will seek my fame in cruelty. Away! They march to slow the shame away!
We'll run the heavens. Good Margaret, stay.
What are you made of? You neither fly nor flee. If you are taken, then we shall reach the very bottom of our fortune. But if we do escape, then we shall get to London, where you are loved and where the creature our fortunes may be found. Away, my lord, to safety! Away!
And so lie there! Sword, hold your temper, heart, be wrathful still. Priests pray for enemies, but princess kill!
Now, by my sword, you have fought well today. In fact, so did we all. Lords, all we have gained is not secure. It's not enough our foes have fled this time, since to retreat we know is not their nature.
I know our safety is to follow them, for I have heard the king has fled to London. Well, Lord Warwick, shall we follow after them?
After them? No. Before them, if we can't. Now, by my hand, lords, 'twas a glorious day. The battle of St. Albans, won by mighty York, shall be eternalized in all age to come. Sound drum and trumpets, and to London all, and more such days as these to us befall.